We are back. The Breakdown Boys, Wade and Sensei. If you guys watched
Back
our
in the building.
breaking news episode, which I'm going to tell Christian is on the drive right now while we're doing this. So Sensei, take over for the intro here.
What? Dude, I was just having a good time.
Tell the people what happened at football meetings last night.
Misfits número 8.
There you go.
Coming to you live on ESPN Deportes. Papi Tío.
Papi
and
Tío.
Wade Plemos.
Oh, Wade Plemos.
Wade Plemos.
All right, so we did not get to talk about Misfits number 8 after the event. It has been way too many days since, but we have to talk about this, man.
Yeah.
Let's give our full breakdown on Misfits number 8. Full card breakdown here. So,
Número 8.
what was the biggest thing that stood out for you about this card, just in general, like the setting of it? Like, what did you think about Misfits number 8 overall?
The first thing that sticks out is the fact that Chase Demore survived. Well, he somewhat survived. And did way better than I thought. That was for me, I was like, wow. He's kind of surviving here and landing some shots on a guy he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Which was pretty crazy. That to me is the number one thing that sticks out. I'm trying to think of the other fights.
Now, when we talk about Chase, we're talking about Chase versus Alan Belcher. And Alan obviously had a real rough time with opponents, had Rockman Jr. fall out, and then had the other guy that was supposed to fight him also fall out before Chase stepped in on 0 days, essentially. That was like the mark of this entire card. It was cursed, it felt like. But Chase, I said this when as soon as I heard the fight, I was like, he has to stay long on his jab, or just not even on the jab, just throw your arms out straight and stay long. And then when he is eventually walked down, clinch like a motherfucker. Hold your horses.
Yeah, but it's so hard to do that against a guy who knows how to fight.
He essentially did that.
And he did it, like, we're talking 24-hour notice, just walked in there. It's just great. It just, like, shows how athletic he is.
Yep. Chase is
how game he is.
He's a freak, dude.
Because I'm like, you shouldn't be able 24-hour notice. I'm just gonna fight Alan Belcher in a boxing match.
He's a freak to be able to just step in like that. And also,
and Chase is uncoordinated, and he was like doing things correctly.
Bro, I said if Chase learns how to fight at all.
Dude, there was he went like this. He like turned his head away, and then he just decided to come back, and then just decided to come back with a right straight. And Alan was like stuck for a second. I was like, no, bro, because you texted me, you got to watch this fight.
Yes.
So I try to watch. I'm like, okay, what is he talking about? But I'm watching, and I'm like,
yes,
no, don't tell me this goes away. But then I was
you thought I was gonna like.
I
was sitting there in the crowd going, "Holy shit, Jake! Chase is doing some good stuff here. Holy cow!"
We talked about this. I'm like, if like Chase is a dude who like freaking the Lord is like, okay, we can't make this guy also
give you everything.
It can't give you everything. Also be coordinated and supernatural and like good instincts when it comes to fighting. Because the fact that he could do that at 24 hours notice, and
I'm telling you, if he learns to fight,
with his skill set already,
he learns to fight. It's over, son. It is over, and he's now taking it. I think he got a big confidence boost from that because now he's like in the gym again already.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Now, one of the things they were doing.
Then the Survivor tag I thought was. I wanted to get your opinion. I need you to go first because I told you this. I want to get your opinion of what it was like
in
live.
Got you.
Because it was, and I can give you my opinion from not being there live.
So let's do this. What did you think before we do Survivor tag team? Dean, Waleed, Yeti Gang, APAP.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. The most interesting part was seeing how Dean and Waleed were going to are they going to help each other coexist, right? I was just waiting for something to pop off there.
Yeah,
maybe
which eventually it did. They they had their.
But
moment,
then freaking what's his name? APAP.
Yeah.
APAP pulled a freaking me, dude. That's what happened to me in my my game buddy. Saturday. Shoulder went. Oh, I was like, oh, So that's in a fight. I was surprised he came back out.
You had Yeti Gang TV, which I thought fought really well. Basically fought 1-on-2. He looked so damn good.
Literally.
I thought Dean
APAP's
people were like, oh, some people, I don't know. I kept hearing, Dean looked like this, Dean looked like that. I thought he looked better than he had looked. And again, that's against a tough guy, and he kept having to go against Yeti, which is like, bro, that could be a championship fight right now for the Misfits title. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that, bro, I said it fucking 3 months ago. Put him in a tournament. Give me APAP. Give me Dean the Great. Give me Waleed. Give me Yuddy Gang. Give me Uncle Pizza. Tio Pizza.
Tio Pizza.
Give me Adam Saleh. Give me everyone and just throw them in a tournament on the same card and just build that shit. Kingpin's already done it the way you should do it. Just do that. You know what I'm saying? Now, let's talk Survivor Tag. In the arena, I'll give you a couple things that I noticed. One, venue was not sold out, which again I understand because they had just a nightmare time trying to put this card together.
Right.
Two, I remember the Survivor Tag itself being a little confusing to the people there watching.
Yeah.
Because they don't know. I don't remember. I think the rules may have been announced. I don't remember though. But there was not a lot going over the loudspeaker to anyone. So in between fights, you're just kind of waiting for the next song to play. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Now, I think Pretty Boy did like an announcement over the loudspeaker. I don't think anybody heard him or was paying attention because it was like him and Paul Bama going back and forth, and Paul obviously pulled out of their fight and had some issues there. But anyway, the point being, it was a lot of confusion heading into the main event as to what, like, people knew Misfits, what was going to happen, but I got to be honest, I don't know how many people in Tennessee actually knew what Misfits was.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yep.
You know, there were some, obviously your fans that were kids there, but there were a lot of adults that were sitting there going, what in the hell's about to happen here? Why is there 4 of them in there at once? Because they'd already seen tag team, and they're like, is there another one of them tag teams happening? What is this? And I was trying to explain it to some people, and I didn't even know.
That's the classic Southern dad.
Yeah.
Just there in his overalls. Yeah. Which you were wearing overalls.
I was in my overalls. Did you check my fit? My fit was crazy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
it was. But just Southern dad overalls. What in the hell is going on here?
I got to see all my people. I got to see Ariel, our mod. I sat with her.
I saw that. I saw that. Yeah. Shout out.
Breakdown team. But anyway, so let's talk Survivor Tag. The fight starts, and I think B-Dave, who rocked my University of Tennessee orange and white, dog. You saw that? Oh, bro. I love the guy for that. I was so hyped, dude. And they played Rocky Top when he walked out. I almost creamed my pants. I'm not going to lie to you. It was that crazy. Yeah, dude. That's how I'm talking like this, son. That's the way.
This man said Rocky Top.
I said
and then followed it up with that.
Son. Yes. I was like, I'm the Rocky Top right now. You feel me? I'll rock you top with this one.
He's getting ready for this weekend. That's what he's talking about, dude.
I had to get ready for what promotion somehow. So
Lord.
He walks out. He and Nick Lamau went first. Now we're gonna try to play some highlights here. Hope that the zone will not strike this. But this is what it looked like here from Rip. Okay, sorry. B-Dave and Nick started on the outside. It was Ryan Johnston and Swarms.
Yes.
So let's take a look here. And Swarms fought. I thought threw a right hand for the first time I've seen Swarms actually start throwing a little bit.
Yep.
Now, we're not going to get a ton of stuff here. It's going to cut in between, but Nick had a lot of ring time to start the fight. B-Dave, head down, coming forward, really looking to throw big-time shots, but Nick was doing a really good job, like he does, defensively slick, good footwork, jab heavy, lead hook heavy. Nice slick jab there.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ryan ate that one. But Swarm's doing a great job, too. Look at Swarm's here.
That reminds sorry.
Wow.
That reminds me of, like, if a kid gets hit in the face with, like, a kickball or, like, a dodgeball, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like the little kid playing dodgeball at the birthday party, and he's like, boom, dude.
Yeah,
he's just,
boom. Just not ready for it at all.
Not ready for it at all.
Ryan took it, though. Fair play to it.
He's like,
said, all right, that don't hurt. But, look, Swarms had some, I mean, listen, B-Day was my pick. In all transparency, after I couldn't pick Nick, but they had some moments, man. B-Dave threw some big power shots, but he was in the same position with his head continuously, and Nick was able to kind of be slick off the look at that uppercut, son, slick.
Look at that uppies.
I don't know what happened there. He damn near
taking
off his
frame hook.
He said, hey, okay, buddy.
Oh, buddy.
Good,
frame
though.
hook, boom, frame uppie.
Hook. Yeah, he did really well defensively, but the discussion came down to this.
Okay,
now, mind you, watching live, I had look at Swarms just fucking coming out.
I told you.
Swarms got that gangster, just you know what I'm saying. He's ready. Those happy feet, and look though, he looked good, turning angles. The discussion came down to who wins between Swarms and Nick Lamau. Watching live, I could tell you that it looked like it was really close, but again, the scoring criteria is something that it's so hard to be malleable, you know? Like, I'm sitting there, and by the way, something that people don't see on the broadcast, the corners had to switch every time their fighter tagged out. So it's like musical chairs on the outside. Corners are sprinting around. It was crazy.
Wow.
But I'm sitting there watching, and I'm like, man, how do I even judge this? Because you have to count ring time, right? You have to. You have to count who's doing better in the totality of it, not just who's doing better against every specific fighter, but then
correct.
Sometimes the matchup is just that specific fighter. Like, we didn't really see Nick Lamau and Swarms, the two guys that probably you thought won. You didn't get to see them really at all.
Right.
So that's the hard part is like, now you're having to compare performances against others versus, okay, they looked good against others. What do they look like against each other? That was like the only thing it was tough to do, you know?
Yeah.
Now, in the building, I thought Nick won because against everyone, against the other two,
Nick more moments, did more damage,
and didn't get touched, really. He got hit, but it was, I think, one shot from B. Dave, and then I think he got headbutted. But I thought he did a lot more damage. And
look at B. Dave.
I know he's trying, man. The Crab Daddy was there. He was letting him fly. But I thought Swarms did a good job too, and I thought he landed some big shots on Ryan Johnston. Like the jab was nice. You know what I mean? Right hand there is nice.
Yep.
But all
right, here's the thing.
I just also thought that Nick was the only guy that actually hurt someone. I think they said Swarms got a standing 8 somewhere, but I didn't see it. But at the end of the fight, Nick got the standing 8, or not standing 8, but Nick got the big shot to end the fight as the round went.
On Johnson, on Ryan, yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah. The thing is, okay, so as I'm watching it, it's tough to, like, you have the mental score when you're watching fights.
Right.
So it's tough to be like, okay, who's winning?
Here was the only interaction that they had right there. This is the only interaction the top two guys had. And Nick lands a check hook. And that's literally about it. And then Swarms gets mad because Nick tags out.
Yeah.
And Swarms wanted a piece of it.
That was that point, yeah.
So, smart move.
So there's part, like, it was interesting because I've never seen it before. And I'm like,
there, though. That's nice.
You know, I'm feeling like, okay, what's going to happen? How is this going to work? Right? How is this going to work? So the very interesting part about the survival tag was that I've never seen it before.
Right.
That was the interesting part. But I felt like, for me, watching at home, I couldn't get hooked because every time something was about to happen,
tag out.
The plug was pulled.
Tag out.
Right? So anytime there was a moment, like, okay, can a fighter build on this?
Yeah.
Then I was like, wait, who hurt who? So I was a bit confused watching it and trying to like stay tag along with the moments of the fight. Like, oh, he hurt him early.
You almost have to have a notepad and be like, this is what happened. Because you forget what happened.
And that part of it, I guess, is interesting because you're trying to stay engaged.
Yeah.
But then again, I just felt like it almost took away from the fighters because there's a lot of good fights if you go, these just guys one-on-one. If you match them up, it's like, man, these guys matched up would have been much bigger.
Right. Now, here's the question I'll ask you.
Like a Swarms and a Nick and
I'll ask you this.
A B-Dave and a Ryan.
Did this fight make you want to see those one-on-one matchups more? And I know that's easy for me to go, oh, of course, because they were in a fight,
Yeah, I would probably say yes, because I think it's going to be easier to set up a fight after this. It would definitely be easier because now you got like Swarms and Nick.
Easy setup.
We didn't get a lot of time. It's an easy setup. I do think that this after this will definitely be easier.
This is why I asked that, because you also in the tag team match you got a fight set up off of that, right? So what I can see that Misfits is trying to do, and this is where I'll give them some credit, is that they're trying to use these little experiments, one, as their own entity, which I don't agree with. necessarily. I don't think that this should have main evented the card. But again, they were in a tough spot. They had tried to have another main event. I get it. It is what it is. But I will say, if you are going to do stuff like this, the use of it should be to drive a further story, or matchup, which is what we got, right? I don't mind that at all. Put this
you build a storyline. You can build a storyline.
I'm fine with that. And they've now done that out of nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one would have cared to have seen, or maybe they would have, but not Swarms and Nick before this.
Correct. Exactly. And you get an opportunity, to build a storyline for a fight down the road. It does make it more interesting. And it's almost like you get a little bit of that rematch effect.
Yep.
You get a little bit of unfinished business effect.
Now
you know
we
what
get
I mean?
to settle
that storyline is
there.
there. Yeah.
And even for
that is a good point,
Ryan Johnson,
for sure.
You know?
Yep. That's there.
Crystal Man and the Crab Daddy. Why not? They both fight very similar. Both guys are headhunters. They want to come in and throw big shots. Like, run that one.
But definitely, there's no way. After watching it, I was like, Survivor Tactics definitely wouldn't be bigger than just if two guys were fighting in the storylines there. But it definitely does have a plus there because, Swarms and Nick, there's nothing there without this.
Exactly. You would have never even have thought of it until this, right? And they did the Misfits Manor thing, which I thought was a really good content idea, and got the guys in the house together. That was really fun. Yes. And the fact that Swarms really didn't participate in any of it at all, he was just kind of like wanted to fight. It makes it even more to me like, okay, now you got a little bit of actual beef. Like, I don't fuck with these guys. You know what I'm saying? So I think that if we're gonna move forward with this, and someone asked me like, oh, what do you think now that you've seen it? If we're gonna move forward with it, I don't think it can be a mainstay. I don't think you main event this anymore. You can't, in my opinion. Because what they wanted out of this is not what they got as far as, like, the big highlight show. Like, one man, how many times did you hear last man standing, right?
Yeah, it doesn't get that feel because even if somebody gets finished, it's just going to be underwhelming because you have people who didn't really fight.
Yeah.
If the show ends, like, even if someone got knocked out, it's like, there's other people who should have been fighting. That one fighter doesn't get his bigger moment because you still feel like there's something undelivered with the other fighters. Like, oh man, I wish Swarms and Nick fought more. You're being left with that.
Exactly. So I like what the application can be. Now, some people are saying, this you can fix it if you add more rounds and you add more time, and maybe, but even then, there's never gonna be a moment. You would have to add, like, this would have to be 12 rounds. You know what I'm saying? To really get the feel of who was gonna fight who. You'd have to do 12 rounds because you're essentially packing this. For this, it was 4 rounds. You're packing 4 rounds into 4 fighters, which is basically like
not a lot of ring time.
Max 2 minutes of ring time, max.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to make it 12 rounds. And who is going to be honest, I don't know how many people are going to sit for 12 rounds and watch that.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
The novelty of it needs to be quick. It needs to be, great. You know what I'm saying? So.
Right.
I think it's a good application if you have nothing for other fighters to do and you're just like, fuck it, we need to get these guys a fight. Here's this. Maybe it'll create something. That's fine with me. Do it on the
or just final round. Just put them all in the ring at once.
Yeah, final round, sudden death, dude. Just fucking
just all right, dude.
Fuck it. No, but that's the only application I see for this moving forward is if you have nothing for the other fighters to do. I just don't see it as a main event. Don't do it as a main event again because that was the most underwhelming main event I think you could probably find. It's unfortunate because it's not what they had planned on this big, extravagant last man standing, everyone else eliminated thing, and that's just not what happened. And you can't guarantee that ever because you're at a lower level. Guys are not going to be able to be precise enough to finish opponent after opponent after opponent. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
It's just not going to be the case. So that's what I think. Overall, I would give this event probably, and I hate doing this because everybody's going to be like, oh, Wade, you're hating.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, bro.
This was not one of their better events. It just wasn't. And you can't.
It makes sense even going into it because all the dropped out. Like,
that's what I'm saying. You can't blame
the cancel
them.
Fights. No, because like AT and Bamba would have been probably the highlight of the night.
Exactly. But if they had their way and they got the card they wanted out of this, it would have been Taylor Holder and Phase Adapt in the main. I don't even know if they would have done Survivor Tag. And even then, I think it was just one of those cards where it was like,
and Hasim would have been on the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Rock would have been there. I think it could have had the potential of number 3. in Austin with Dean and
Yeah.
Waleed and all that. That had that potential.
Yeah.
It's just
for
unfortunate all the pullouts, and then the fights they did have weren't necessarily what. Like the tag team was my favorite fight of the night, to be honest with you. The tag team fight.
Yeah.
Everything else just kind of it just didn't work for them. And Mams even said it.
Right.
He goes, "This card was just cursed." And fair play.
Right. Literally, the Survivor tag event was just surviving.
Ooh, bars and no tag outs. Couldn't tag anybody.
Bars,
son.
Bars.
But that's what we think, man. I would say.
Yeah.
This is probably, like I said, on where are you grading it out of Misfits events?
What is this, number 8? I don't.
It's either this one or New Orleans. There's dead last. I would say.
Yeah.
This one. This one's probably dead last though.
Yeah.
Just because
Which,
New Orleans
again,
actually had a fun main event,
Right. That's the thing too. It's just tough. It's a different kind of main event,
Yeah.
and you didn't get the fights you wanted.
Yeah.
So.
And we got the
That's
lasting
what's
moment
gonna
of
happen.
Chase fucking bow and arrowing Stevie Knight on the ground, dude. Jesus. Comment section. You let us know what you think. Where does this rank as far as Misfits event, and what happens with Survivor Tag? Do they go back to it? Misfits number 9 on the way, by the way. Did you see the tease that we'll talk about probably in a separate video, but did you see the tease for the KSI fight?
Oh, is it going to be I thought so. The little X thing?
The X thing. Did you see that? That played in the arena.
So it was Logan and Dylan or something like that?
Yeah, we might wait and talk about that just because there's a lot to get into there. But essentially, yeah, there's some shit going down, and we'll take another video and talk about that. But that's number 8, and listen, we didn't just get 1 or 2 things on number 8. We got a lot of things. In fact, in the words of Drake, we got a combination of things. So, folks, if you like that, hit the comment below, like the video, and what happens next for Misfits, we might have our answer, but that's coming in a separate video. So,
I can't take no loss. I don't need no